Came to talk through the exam papers. So through, poor thing. Can't very well go home on a night like this. I've made up a bed.
You are good. Will he be warm enough?
I'm just going to get some blankets, so...
Are you alright?
I'm fine. I've had some brandy. We need to talk.
Come here, John.
I've been having long talks with your father. I think I'm going to make the decision to join the party. He's right, basically.
You told me that. Who will give her breakfast?
I will. I didn't tell you about my decision.
I assumed, in the end, you'd be sensible.
I'm doing it because I love you. You know that? If it were just myself, I'd take the chance. Obviously, I'm not 100% sure about Hitler, you understand that, but I love you and the children.
I know.
You're the whole basis of my life.
That's good.
I'll never leave you.
Why should you?
And you'll never leave me.
Why should I?
Plenty of people leave each other.
Plenty of people get run over by buses.
That's a good observation.
Well, they do. I'm glad. Father will be glad too if you joined. It's a real commitment.
I love you.
Do you?
Yes, of course. You're my sweetheart.
Am I?
Yes. What are you?
You're a sweetheart.
I bought for coffees in myself to avoid interruptions. Apologies if I kept you long. Have you finished the letter?
The letter? Ah, yes, very affecting.
Isn't it? One of our tasks here at the Chancellery is to process the huge volume of letters addressed to our leader by ordinary citizens. They give, as you can see, an unrivaled insight into the spirit of renewal alive in our country today. We have received several such letters from the families of unfortunates with incurable handicaps requesting our special permission to ease their suffering. Which is where you come in.
Me?
We need a paper from you, Halder, arguing along the same lines as you do in your novel, the case for an enlightened approach to mercy killing, on the grounds of humanity.
So, that's all you asked me for? That's why you want me here?
Why else?
Well, I'm hardly an expert. I mean to say, my mother has been chronically ill.
Yes, well, notice the handwriting?
God forgive me. The human bloody being. The surge of pride in me, reading that scrawled sentence in Adolf's shaky hand. It said, written from the heart.
He heavily condoned the manner in which you cast aside a self-indulgent sentimentality and came to terms with the human situation as it is. Dr. Goebbels was also very impressed. In fact, he thought it might make an excellent basis for a motion picture.
A motion?
As for myself, I was very impressed with the humanity of your writing.
Thank you. So, that's all you want from me, a paper?
You will, of course, be very well paid for your work. But more than that, your participation would be, for me, a guarantee that the question of humanity remains central to our whole approach. You and I both know how these things can get out of hand. There are certain elements within the party. And then, of course, the inhumanities that can occur in mental institutes. I would rest much easier in my bed if I knew I had your participation in this project.
Yes, I could draft something out by next week.
Excellent. Just one more thing. Before inviting you here, we did, of course, examine your record very thoroughly. Frontline service in 1918, your work at university, everything more or less in order. Except for one oversight. You never did join the party.
I did discuss it on several occasions with my father-in-law, Dr. Brunner. He's a prominent member in our district. But at the time, you see, I've already mentioned my mother's illness, and my life was a little complicated. You have to understand.
Yes, I want to understand everything about you.
I can't deny it. I do find myself attracted to you. But in my circumstances, as a lecturer and as a married man, I simply can't.
The parade must be about to begin.
Parade?
Yes, isn't that why we're here?
No, this is the most discreet place I could think of. Now, of course, we have to hold another one of their bloody rallies.
Let's watch.
No, I really can't stand that sort of thing. And what have we seen? I'd rather just slip away before we got caught.
Oh, come on, we'll say we bumped into each other in the crowd. Oh, everybody looks so happy. Anything that makes people happy can't be bad, can it?
And I do find some of it quite offensive. The ideas behind it, or lack of them.
But feel this energy. All it needs is a few good people to channel it in the right direction.
Do you really believe that?
I believe people just survive and live. It doesn't matter what kind of government people have. They've survived through all kinds of terrible things, haven't they? You find someone you love. You have a family. You look after them and try not to harm anyone. Isn't that what happens? In the end, you just have to survive.
But it's not just survival. Joining the Nazis, people like you and me, instead of keeping away from them, and not even standing up to them, just keeping away. Could you push them to humanity?
What if they pushed us the other way?
Yes, it could happen. Yes, if it did, I'd get out. No question about it. I'd pull myself away, get out of the country.
Of course you would. I mean, burning all those books, of course it's shocking, but then you said so yourself. Wouldn't it be liberating to just chuck them all out and make a fresh start? Come on.
Yes, but there's a great deal of difference between talking about something and actually doing it.
Exactly. Men like you shouldn't be shut up in their studies reading books. They should be out there helping to build a better country for our children. Please?
All right.
Complicated. Yes, I understand.
I have given serious thought to joining the party, but somehow I just can't see myself marching around waving banners.
Here. Connect me to SS headquarters.
What I mean is
Perhaps you're right. A man of your talents would be wasted on the rank and file. Officer Doyerhow, there's someone I'd like you to meet.
Professor Howard, isn't it?
Yes, it is, sir.
Sir will not be necessary with me. Call me Freddy.
I'll leave you two to acquaint yourselves.
It's not every day we get a call from the Chancellery of the Führer.
Oh, I don't work here, you understand? I'm merely an academic.
Merely an academic? Ridiculous. You've served the 24th Brandenburg.
Oh, I didn't see much action, I'm afraid. I was only called up in 1918.
Ah, just in time for the last big push. Great times. I assume you have a few minutes to spare.
No. Yes, of course, yes.
Well, the Kaiser, as you know, had his elite regiment, the Imperial Guard. Well, now we have our Schutzstaffel, the SS.
The Führer's bodyguard.
It's rather more than that. I'm not suggesting you need to start running around with a revolver. No. We're interested in recruiting the better type of person. The specialist in their field.
Oh, well, I wouldn't really call myself a specialist.
See, that's what I like about you, Hal. No showing off, just a quiet determination. That's exactly the kind of person we're looking for. John Halder. The Goethe man. My wife is a great reader. She must have several of your books. And your father, the Roman man. The true and pure German culture can be found only in those parts of Germany that the Romans failed to contaminate. You see? I still remember bits of it. Obviously, a book as deep as that, I just got the gist of it.
I'm flattered by your high opinion of me, but with my commitments to my university...
The last thing we want is for you to be distracted from your valuable work of shaping the minds of our next generation. No. Your position would be an honorary one. The greatest minds in the land, with us in spirit.
It could have been the atmosphere of the place. The National Socialist office was in some great nobleman's house. Marble halls, chandeliers. God forgive me. It was a wonderful feeling. Joining. You've no idea the emotional heights it lifted me to. They loved me. The Goethe man. If they love you like that, you can't but help but love them back. I have had the most remarkable day, Helen. Turns out, someone has read my book after all. Helen, I'm trying to tell you something. The Führer has read my book. And now I've been asked to draft a paper for the party. Isn't that extraordinary? All on account of the book, would you believe? They really seem to love it. Helen, I'm trying to tell you something.
Come back to bed.
John! Johnny!
Don't worry, it's only Morris.
I know you're up there, John. Don't forget, it's my cottage after all.
I know it is, Morris.
What are you doing up there? I haven't seen you in a few days.
I've just been a bit distracted.
Distracted? Better be with work. I told Helen you were lending it for your writing, so my bed spring still better be intact before you're done.
Of course, Morris.
Right, come on, you got time for a quick drink? I've had a lot of cancellation.
I'm afraid I really can't.
There's always time for one.
I can't, Morris.
You're not coming down.
No.
All right, then let me in for a minute.
No! I'm working.
Jesus. You all right?
Why shouldn't I be?
Well, you on my cottage, Helen at home, her more than usually abstract, shall we say? My couch is free.
You know I can't afford you.
Friends benefits! 10% off. You know what's happened, John? Just come to me. Hitler's perverted the whole nature of our relationship. Buggered up the one friendship I valued. It's not good, John. Right, I know when I'm not wanted.
Morris, we'll get together when things have cooled down a little. I promise.
Don't do me any favours.
Welcome, everyone. Well, it's delightful to see you. Man, oh, Rick, is it your hair? It does your hair. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the bar is over there. Kindly help yourself. Johnny! Welcome.
I'd like to introduce Anne.
Delighted to meet you, Anne. The professor's kept his wife in most selfish.
Oh no, we're not. I mean, Anne and I are...
What a wonderful place for a party.
Cheers. Theodore! John here is working on a secret assignment for the Chancellery of the Führer.
Oh, it's really just a brief paper that had to be drafted. Of course.
Once it would have given me great satisfaction to see you at a gathering such as this, but accepting your duties as a National Socialist is no excuse for shirking your responsibilities as a husband. I fear for the movement when it embraces men of such moral weakness.
I should explain. Dr. Brunau is my father-in-law. My wife and I...
To think and abandon Helen for this hall.
Please! There's no need to bring Anne into this. If you'll excuse us.
I don't see why we should have to leave. You're not the one who's drunk.
Now I'll have to tell Helen. Bastard.
Where do you think you're going? Elizabeth, darling, would you mind taking care of Anne for a few minutes?
Of course.
I'm sorry.
Well, there's no need to apologise. When you're in with us, John, your rules don't apply. Himmler! He might look like a bank manager, but you've got to give the man one thing. Very advanced views on sex. He wants us to go out, and he wants us to knock up girls, left, right, and centre, to donate a child to the Führer. Breeding. Well, it's our patriotic duty, for God's sake. Just so long as it's with the right girl, that is. Oh, really, Mother?
John? Johnny, where am I?
Where do you think you are?
Oh, it's no use. Take me back to the hospital. I'll never manage to live here by myself. Take me back.
Just try. Try to picture your house in your mind.
Am I in the kitchen?
No, you're in the bedroom.
I'm in the bedroom. Oh, it's no use, son. I can't take it all in. Take me back to the hospital.
I'll take you over to the bed again. Try to picture it in your mind. Your room. Put your hand on the bed.
Oh, it's no use, son. I'm finished. Go back to Frankfurt. You've got your own life to lead.
Follow the edge of the bed, Mother. Please, think.
I can't think. It's all going out of my brain.
Think of your room. You remember your room before you lost your...
It's all out of my head. I tell you, I can't. This is the bedroom wall, and this is the bedroom cabinet.
Try again, Mother. How could that possibly be the bedroom cabinet?
A table?
That's right. You might think, what a bloody ridiculous thing to be done, writing out a recipe for goulash for your wife who you're about to leave. But if you think about it, it's sensible enough if she can't cook.
John, you look so pale. You don't look well.
That's a good approach. Excellent. Go on. Be really understanding. Make it really difficult. I know I'm failing her. I'm failing myself. Even worse.
You're just going to leave me with one recipe before you run off then?
Helen, I don't know what I'm doing. I just wrote out that recipe because it's easy.
It's easy enough on paper, but I'm sure there's something wrong with me. I can't coordinate. I get obsessed with the wrong order.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh, I hate it when you suffer like this.
Why have you become so bloody understanding all of a sudden?
Oh, I don't know. Have I? Just lost. The worst thing. You know the worst thing?
Johnny,
I'll be up in a minute, Mother.
I need to go to the toilet.
What was the worst thing?
John!
You've just been to the bloody toilet!
I'll take her.
She's my mother! You take care of her all day. Stop being so nice to me, will you? I'm coming.
I'm very sorry, son. I can't get my bowels to make a timetable for me.
I'll wait outside.
Wait outside, come inside. What difference does it make to me now?
I'll wait outside.
Where's the wash basin gone?
Follow the wall. Use your imagination. You'll never be able to live by yourself if you don't give yourself a shake.
I'm sorry, son. I can't perform for you, so you can run off with your prostitute without feeling guilty. Where's the bloody tap?
Use your imagination.
I can't wash my hands with imagination. Maybe you can. Where are you taking me now?
I'm taking you back to the bedroom.
I've been stuck up there all day. I want to get out. I don't know what you need to talk to her about for anyway.
Sit in your room a minute.
That woman, dear God, she can't even make a cup of coffee. He's not coming back.
I'll be up in a minute, Mother. I need the toilet. Helen was still in the kitchen, trying to cook the recipe I'd written out for her. Could well be there's a vestigial brain damage.
You fry the onions first.
You don't need to do it this minute, do you?
I'm doing it now. Well, you're here to put me right. Up till a few months ago, I wouldn't have felt it so much. You saying that you love somebody else. Now when you say it, I loved you a bit during our honeymoon. And after. Then, just a few months ago, I really started falling in love with you. Surprised me. I don't know why. Did you notice?
Yes. Well, when your wife comes out with something like that, for Christ's sake, I think so.
Probably my instinct telling me that I was losing you.
She's not frying the meat. Helen, you're supposed to fry the meat.
That's right. The idea of losing you.
You're not losing me.
Just my whole life, really. It's around you. The basis of my whole life.
I won't leave you. What do I mean by that? I won't...
Don't just say things to pacify me, John, will you not? I can't stand it.
John,
Jesus, I don't know what to do with that woman.
I thought you were in the toilet.
What are you going to do with that?
Johnny!
I'm coming!
I don't understand you, John.
What do you mean you're not leaving me?
I don't know. What do I mean? I'll be in every day to see the children.
With her?
I have to come down for the university.
Is this right?
That's fine.
John! John! I wish I could help you, I do. It's a shame for you. It's me.
Better get the bloody woman downstairs.
John!
I'm bloody coming! You still have me as a friend.
I haven't any friends. I could never make them, never at any time. Except you.
I'm bloody coming!
When I started loving you, the children irritated me. I just wanted to be alone with you. You know me. Stupid kind of things.
John!
I'll bring you down in a bloody minute! Helen.
What are you two talking about?
Oh, just reliving our glory days, dodging bullets.
When were you dodging bullets?
In the wall. We were in the army together.
When?
About 20 years ago now?
You'd be what? About 3, 4?
I didn't know you'd been a soldier, John.
Oh, Johnny.
Only for a while.
You should have seen him in uniform. Very, very sexy.
Stop it.
Very popular with the lady.
Morris!
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to go into the lake now, so I better get changed anyway.
We might follow you in later.
I'll look forward to your company.
So, how is domestic bliss with the student?
Anne. Can we call her Anne, please?
Anne.
And she's not my student anymore.
Oh, very upright of you, Professor, to wait until she graduated before doing the dirty. I don't think I could have restrained myself for so long.
So you approve?
Very nice. She obviously has a terrible father figure complex.
Are we jealous?
Absolutely. Do you think she needs a good psychoanalyst?
No. I'm not letting you anywhere near her.
Don't take this the wrong way, Johnny, but I didn't think you had it in you.
Neither did I.
So what happened? What made you seize the day?
I don't know, I just have a spring in my step lately. I suppose the promotion didn't do any harm. I'm just happy, you know.
What promotion?
Oh, didn't I? Well, it's nothing really.
No. Come on, you can tell Uncle Morris. Well,
You've made me head of department.
that is fantastic. Congratulations!
Yes.
I thought you said there was no way they'd give you that promotion. Fuck. What are you two doing?
Well, it's just...
Tell me it was pure self-interest. That I can understand. But don't tell me you agree with them.
It doesn't matter if I agree with them. The fact is, they're in power. At least I'm doing something. If we want to change anything, steer them in the right direction, we can't stay sitting on the sidelines.
We? Who the fuck is we? I don't think I'll be steering anyone in the right direction because I don't get to vote anymore. If you haven't noticed, I'm not a citizen. Actually, legally, I'm not a full fucking human being, so I'm stuck on the sidelines. And what are you going to do for the cause, eh? Give them another one of your tedious little lectures.
Look, if you're really so pessimistic, why don't you go abroad for a year or two until things settle down? Maybe then we can talk about this properly.
Yes, maybe when I'm settled in the ground, riddled with Nazi bullets, then we can talk about it properly. Maybe then you can rationalise it all for me.
You've got no ties here!
No ties. I was born here. I fought for this fucking country. I'm as German as you. How dare you? Why should I leave? That's exactly what those bastards want. Sorry, you bastards.
Morris! Morris!
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd all like to follow me onto the stage, some light refreshments will be provided for you. The interval will last 10 minutes.